Hello everyone, my name is Naomi and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about ways I have been able to connect with my own divine feminine energy, what this means for me, daily practices and habits that I've been able to instill into my life, routines, and simply a form of lifestyle, I could say. Obviously, the feminine is something that is not as nurtured and as valued in today's society. First, I'm gonna go over what the divine feminine is to me. So, I wanted to write this down to be a little bit more intentional and make sure that I hit all the points. To me, the divine feminine is the ability to embrace our yin energy, that dark, that slow, that soft energy, our creativeness, our beingness, the resting, abundant, and loving nature that we all contain. Many people believe that this feminine energy is solely inhabited by women, but that is far from the truth. It is simply the dualistic nature that is within all of us, male and female. It has less to do about gender and more about the cyclical, soft, and create energy or creative energy. While it can be seen as feminine in our society, it is merely the other half of our soul. Just like the dark and light, fire and water, sun and moon, etc. We also contain masculine energy, and it's important to embody and care for both. Since our society is mainly on this hyper masculine wavelength, today I wanted to create a video to instill some ways how we can awaken that feminine energy within, to reconnect, embody, and empower this beautiful side of ourselves. I really feel that being able to embody this sense of just softening in life and doing things with intention, with curiosity, and just it just fills my heart. I feel like there's so many times that we have really had this mindset instilled within us to be hyper productive and to consistently produce and rush and show up. And so I want to provide an opportunity for other men and women out there who want to dive into this more yin, soft energy. Okay, so the first habit or way that I've been able to embody and reconnect with my feminine, it seems kind of mundane, but is to slow down. Slow down in all aspects. Slow down in the way that you talk, in the way that you walk, you breathe, you eat. It invites this presence and awareness that really allows us to tune back into our body, and that is so feminine, being able to reinstill this somatic loving softness into our everyday life. And so I really invite you to slow down, to be in a state of relaxation with no need to rush or finish. That is innately feminine, to be embodied and to have this just ease with the way that you are being. I feel like there's nothing more beautiful and graceful than just speaking with someone that is just so soft and eloquent, and it's just like, oh my gosh, like I feel so drawn to you, like I feel safe in your presence. And that is the feminine, she could be the mother, the maiden, the daughter, the widow. There's so many different archetypes, but when we truly dig into this embodiment of just slowing down in all phases, it it's so much more inviting. If we just take the example of nature, and we notice how the seasons are just ever so cyclical. There are seasons of, you know, slowing down, like in the wintertime, when the animals start to hibernate, the plants start to die, and they're grounding, they're going within, and it is the same way, in our society. We're taught that it's consistently summertime and we have to harvest and reap. Yeah, so we really have to be able to observe nature in the ways that she is so cyclical, and there is, death and birth, growth and birth, and then, rebirth. And there's just all of these different ways that we can learn to tune within. Next tip, which is spend time in nature. Like I just said, there is so much wisdom and power in being able to observe and truly witness the phases of nature, you know. Like I said, we have the winter, you know, we start to go within, and then spring, it slowly starts to come to life, and we're starting to plant those seeds and, you know, beginning to set our intentions, our goals, our dreams. And then, you know, come summertime, which is a time to reap and harvest and, you know, really enjoy all of the fruits of our labor. And then again, we flow into fall, which things start to slow down. You know, our plants are starting to slowly diminish. Animals are starting to gather up their foods. And there's just really this fascinating phenomena that we we sort of neglect. We pretend like we're not part of nature, like we're not these mammals that are very intelligent, but have really negated to see how we are so intertwined with nature and how we have separated ourselves. Number three is spend time in sacred sisterhood. And when I say this, I mean truly intuitive, loving, inviting women that are, you know, girls, you know, that are going to truly see you for who you are, that will honor you, that will love you, that will praise you, but also keep you accountable. There, I feel like, is nothing more enriching in that feminine space than to be in these sacred woman communities, to be in these sanctuaries that are just so sacred and open and inviting. There is a lot of healing when it comes to this sacred lineage of motherhood and sisterhood. And it really breaks my heart, but I hear so many stories of just women that, you know, no longer speak to their mother, to their sisters, that there's consistent conflict. And that is truly a reflection of our mother earth, you know. And so we as women have this role, this responsibility to truly heal those relationships with other women, you know. And it really demonstrates a lot about ourselves and our own femininity and our own just divine feminine nature when we have that broken bond with our mothers, with our sisters, with our cousins, with our friends. So being able to be in these spaces will reinvite that softness, that compassion, that platonic loving softness that we are yearning for, you know? And so try to put yourself out there. Maybe you don't have a lot of feminine connections or friends. You know, send a message to, you know, your sister, your mother. Try to reconcile those connections in your life. I am so much more rooted in my divine feminine energy. And it's almost like remothering yourself and your inner child and your sisters and your mother. And yeah, there's just this collective sense of mother wound that we carry. And so I feel like there's nothing more beautiful than to, you know, step into that role and be the change that you wish to see and just in the world. Number four is reconnect with your sensuality. And this can mean many different things. It can mean your sexuality, it can mean your senses themselves. There is just so much, you know, dynamic play there is here. What I truly mean is really reconnecting back to your body. This is our sacred temple, you know. And I just learned this, but I was listening to a podcast by Sahara Rose. Check her out. I love her. She was having a podcast about basically the feminine and masculine energies and how us women, we express our love and we give energy through our heart, and we receive energy up through our sacral, basically. And men express their love or their energy out through their sacral and receive it through their heart. And so there's this really interesting cycle and dynamic going on, but it really cannot play out unless we have this trusting, loving, and open connection to our vessel. And so there's nothing more crucial than being able to develop that sense of interoception, to really understand, okay, why am I feeling this way? And maybe when you're feeling like a sense of anxiety or illness, that you're understanding where it's coming from. Oh, I'm starting to overburden myself because I have all these things to do, but I haven't, nourished myself with healthy foods recently, or however that might look like. It is so, so important because we cannot fill from an empty cup. To me, this looks like waking up with mindfulness, with intention, moving my body, stretching, going for a walk, doing some breath work, some yoga, and then simultaneously being able to nourish myself before I'm trying to give to others. And this also may look like working out, eating healthy foods, making sure that I'm eating vegetables and colorful foods, and tuning into my cycle. What phase am I in right now? Whatever that might look like for you, try to instill a practice. And slowly but surely, you're going to start to create this stronger bond with your body. And this is so, so important, especially when you're showing up in love. If you have a partner or someone that you care for or that you are in a relationship with, you show up so much more intentionally and fully when you've developed a loving connection to your own body, your own pleasure practice, your own sense of sensuality as a woman or even a man. And so I really invite you to get curious there and find where you may be lacking, whether it is in the mind, in the body, in the soul. There's always ways to really rekindle or re-empower that sense of connection to ourself. And so then everything starts to feel like a little flirty dance. You can feel into your senses more, into your sense of touch, smell, taste, and you're much more open to just experiencing reality in a more loving, soft, and empathetic way. Number 5 is start to create something. Tune into your creativity, your art, music, movement, whatever this looks like. Again, this is very versatile and you could really play around with all of these tips and habits. But for me, this looks like being able to take time to, freestyle, to sing, to dance, to cook delicious, unique foods I've never made, to, join an art class or draw, whatever fuels or really just excites you. Go into that space, because the more that we're creating, the more this sacral energy, of the womb, of your vessel, of your soul will really start to be empowered. And feminine energy really is creative energy. How she could create, and she's transformative in the water, and we can create life, and there's just all of this abundance. And the last tip for you guys is have a connection to source, whatever way that source may be inclining you to. There's times that, in the morning I will meditate, but I got this message or this channel, this intuitive sense. It is important to stay open and not feel so attached to this idealized outcome or expectation. Again, these are all invitations, and I'm not trying to tell you guys what to do, but these are things that have worked for me and that have really allowed me to step more into my divine feminine energy, which has inevitably allowed me to attract better people, more abundance, more peace, compassion, and just this loving, soft energy that I can't really describe, but it is so beautiful, and everyone should be allowed to be and not just do. We're human beings, not human doings, like some people like to say. And it is important to curate that and to find spaces where we can cultivate that loving softness and just that playfulness for life, because at the end of the day, this is your journey, this is your path, and you get to write that story and live the life that you want to live. You don't have to just play by the rules or what you think people or society or your family thinks that you should be doing, but how you want to show up, how you want to show up to your relationships and friends and work and career and your purpose. And so that is all for today, my loves. I hope that you enjoyed. Comment down below what your favorite habit or tip or takeaway was for today. I'm really trying to get more consistent here as I feel this is part of my soul and mission's purpose. So I love you guys so much. Have a beautiful rest of your day, my loves. Bye.